Welcome to the Salt Strong Podcast, disrupting fishing entertainment as you know it. Prepare to laugh. Prepare to get to know fishing legends in a whole new and unfiltered way. And on occasion, you might even learn a thing or two about fishing. Here's your host, Joe Simons. Like diamonds.
Why more time on the water could actually be making you a worse fisherman. Hey everybody, Joe Simons, Like Diamonds, back again here with the podcast. We just finished up a 2-day off-site leadership meeting. We do it every year. We talk about where we've been, meaning like what has worked, what hasn't worked, what we're doing now, what's working now, what's not working now. And then we spend a lot of the time, the majority of the time, talking about the future, right? What are we going to do in 2025? And we built out all the way to a 2030 vision, which we'll be sharing on a completely different podcast because there's a lot to unpack there. But yes, we actually have a written down, very clear and really exciting 2030 vision. A lot of you know that 2025 is the year that we declared many years ago, almost 7 years ago, that we were going to have a 1,000-acre fishing theme park. And I can tell you that we're getting one step closer in the right direction for that to happen at some point next year. A lot of really, really exciting things happening. But let's talk about this podcast. The reason you probably clicked on it and wanted to listen to this one. Yes, it really is possible to get worse by just spending more time on the water. I've got a couple different stories to share with you. First, let's talk about some of the things that happened in the meeting there just this past week. We spent a lot of time talking about how Salt Strong and how the Insider Club has evolved. And because of the evolution of all the things we're doing, from the online courses, which is how it all started, to the smart fishing game plans, where the coaches really just get on camera and talk about where to fish that coming weekend. We're doing that every single weekend, as all you insiders already know about. We've got insider reports where we go fish new spots every week and publish all that. And now we have obviously a whole tech stack where we've got smart fishing tides and smart fishing spots. We have our own native app now on both app stores, all this stuff. And we're like, okay, there's been a lot of change, but like, what's some of the biggest things? Like, what are like the biggest things that have completely changed in your fishing game? We kind of went around and talked. And the biggest one by far that has changed really over the last 20 or so years is that we're not finding fishing spots on the water. Meaning Luke just flat out said, he's like, I don't remember the last time I went out in the water to go find a fishing spot. He's like, I go in the water to fish. I got a plan in mind. I know exactly where I'm going. He's like, I'm doing all of my pre-trip planning, and I'm literally finding hidden honey holes from the comfort of my home, right? Sometimes on the couch in between football games or at halftime, I'm literally going into smart fishing spots and using all those different map layers to find the exact spots that I want to fish on that next trip. And he's like, that's cut out so much time. It's not even funny, right? And so then we started going through all of the testimonials that we've received over the past couple years. And I'm talking thousands, literally, of these testimonials. And we were looking for themes, right? Things that we're doing really, really good that no one else is doing out there. And can you guess the number one theme, like the number one overarching theme out of all of these thousands and thousands of testimonials over the years? It's time. That Salt Strong is saving them time, right? And I believe it, right? That's the whole reason that we started this thing, is because we realized as soon as we started getting jobs and soon as we started getting married, having kids, and all these things that happen as you get older and mature and get on with life, if you will, the number one thing that becomes more and more precious is time, right? It's why so many people are attracted to Salt Strong. So it's not just time. It's a little bit deeper than that, right? It's really about that time on the water is your most valuable thing. And if you're spending it going one of the same boring spots over and over and over again, or if you're spending it trying to find fishing spots, you are absolutely wasting your time. And it gets worse. Very similar to golf. If you don't know, there's a company called Revolution Golf, and it ended up getting purchased or acquired by the Golf Channel. Comcast, NBC purchased Revolution Golf quite a few years back. But we took a lot of our lessons from that company and how they built their business through education. And they were one of the first really kind of like hobby companies, meaning hobby slash sport, that was going after not just beginners, but, kind of the casual golfer, someone who just wasn't consistent. That was really the person they went after. It's very similar to us, right? We're not just going after beginners. Some people think we are, but we have many really experienced anglers who just aren't as consistent. And guess why? It's because of time. And so this company called Revolution Golf, they were the first ones to basically just declare that if you go out there on the driving range and expect to get better, you're absolutely wrong. Not only that, you will get worse. And maybe you've heard that before, right? A lot of golf pros say that the number one way to get worse is go out there and practice horrible mechanics on the golf course. And the exact same thing is happening in fishing. We see it all the time. We've met plenty of people out on the water, and we're asking them, how's it going? And they're just like defeated. Like, well, how many times have you been out here? Your first time? Like, no, I just keep going back here to the same spots. And they're practicing the same bad habits. And occasionally, just like on the driving range, occasionally, you whack one right down the middle and you high five your buddy and all things are great. And then the next 10 shots are shanks and hooks and, horrible shots that are the opposite of what just happened that 9 shots ago. And it's the same with fishing. That's why so many people are inconsistent, is they don't have enough time to go out in the water like a full-time guide, right? We'd be naive to say that guides don't have an advantage because they're on the water. Of course, that is an advantage, but most of us don't have that advantage to go figure it out that way. And we also know that guides use things like our app and use technology to constantly find spots, right? I mean, heck, here in Florida, the last 60 days, we've had 2 major hurricanes that have come and shifted a lot of stuff. They've moved fish around. So you're, even as a full-time fishing guide, you're constantly having to go out there. All right, where did my bait spots go? Did they move? Has the bait come back? Are the snook and the reds and the trout back where they were before the storm? If not, cool. We got to go figure this stuff out. And so the beauty of it is, because of technology, because of things like the Salt Strong Insider Club and our private community with all these anglers and coaches sharing, there is so much that you can do off the water now. It is not, it's almost scary, right? And how fast it's all changing. And it was very similar with golf. I remember people, because I knew the founder of that Revolution Golf, Justin Tupper. And Justin said to me, people would make fun of him in the beginning when he was saying that, that you actually get worse in the driving range, but can get better from the comfort of your home. And so he was teaching online golf, one of the first people to really scale online golf lessons and have online golf coaches. It was not heard of before. Now it seems like, oh yeah, you've seen that before. But he was one of the first ones to do this now, almost 18, 20 years ago now. Maybe even longer when he actually started it. And like I said, people were laughing at him. So that's the silliest thing ever. How can you get good at golf from home? And now look at it, right? I know plenty of people that have little, essential little putting greens and golf clubs in their cubicles and stuff in their offices. And they're doing little, not full swings in most cases, but just practicing their grip and practicing holding the club and how they're striking the ball. Even in their office, even while they're on phone calls and conference calls. I mean, it's crazy how much you can get done and how much better you can get at golf without having to even drive to the driving range, et cetera. And the same, it can be true with fishing. And I'll just tell you a cool story. I mean, just this past weekend, we were at a wedding in a spot we hadn't been to in a long time. And we literally got on smart fishing spots. We did. Luke, obviously, I was with Luke, and he obviously recorded the smart fishing game plan, so we already knew what was in that video. And we went to the spots that I highlighted. We found some oyster bars. We found a couple little mangrove points that had oyster bars and a depth change nearby using 1-foot contour lines. And what do you know? We caught a ton of fish, tons of snook, tons of trout, a couple of reds. And even a couple nice slot snook. Most of them are in that 26 to 27 range. But it was an epic day, all using lures, all in a spot we hadn't fished in a really long time. And all of that hard work, if you will, was done off the water. Sure, that's one way. Just like if you spend enough time on the driving range and meet enough people and talk to enough pros and watch enough people do it the right way and maybe hit enough bad balls, you might get better. You might not, but you might get better. Same with time. I can also argue that you could get worse if you just kept going to the same 3 fishing spots over and over and over again without ever changing anything up, without ever understanding the tides, without ever understanding the why fish are at certain depths or why they might hit a certain lure or a certain bait during certain times of the year. I do think you would get worse and not better, and probably really, really frustrated, which is maybe even the worst symptom of all of that. So that is a new theme you'll be hearing. I wanted to share that with you. We just got out of this 2-day leadership meeting. I was excited to share it with you. And I'd love to hear any feedback you guys have. If you can resonate with that, I'm guessing a lot of you have or can and probably have resonated with that in the past. I also believe it's probably the thing that most people think is holding them back, right? Because we do hear that from people that, oh man, if I just had more time on the water, I get better. Yeah, I mean, honestly, it's tough to argue that with that mindset. But if you're just going out and fishing the same spots without doing any pre-trip planning, which, by the way, you can do off the water, right, in a really short amount of time with shortcuts like Smart Fishing Spots and the Insider Club, then I think that is the wrong way of thinking. It can't just be time on the water. And we've seen it. We've seen it with countless of our students and our members who have gone from complete newbies and inconsistent to all of a sudden pretty good weekend warriors to even some that have gone pro. I mean, we've got a handful of people that have got their captain's license and are confident enough where they're actually taking other people out fishing and getting paid to do it. That is pretty awesome. And all these people started at the very, very bottom. Maybe like you, that maybe you're just frustrated and don't know where to start. Start with the Insider Club. It is a step-by-step system. It is proven. It does take work, just like anything. There's no just simple pill you're going to take, and all of a sudden the next day you just catch a ton of fish. You still got to put some time in, but it's not as much as you think, and so much of it can be done off the water, not on the water. And that means even if you have a rainy day or a time where you're stuck somewhere, stuck in an airport, which I've been here recently, I mean, any of these places, this is a great time to actually get better at fishing. And I think we have to have that mindset as anglers that there are a lot more ways to get better at fishing than just extra time on the water. Now, time on the water is where you're going to refine those skills and actually put everything you learned into practice. But golly, there is just so much that can be done off the water. And we're going to be just blasting that message that time on the water is the enemy. That is not the thing holding you back. It is the thing that we can defeat very quickly if we are smart with things like smart fishing tides, smart fishing spots, and the smart fishing game plan, really just our whole smart fishing system. So that is it. Just wanted to share that with you guys. We'll do another podcast here around the first of the year, sharing all the big, exciting news for 2025 and beyond. All right, guys. Well, that is it. If you're not an Insider member, go to saltstrong.com. You'll see a place to join right there at the top. And if you are, make sure to go to saltstrong.com as well. Of course, you'll automatically be logged in and see the community there, community.saltstrong.com, and see all the latest reports, all the latest giveaways. We got a really big giveaway here this month, the trolling motor, and a lot of other things we'll be giving away as well, along with 24/7, 365 tackle discounts on everything all day long. See you over there at saltstrong.com.
'Cause fishing, it's in my soul, it was pain.